name's Ivan Flores. I want to ask you a question. Do any of you know what Red Hand Day is? No? Alright. Red Hand Day is celebrated on February 12th every year and is celebrating the awareness of child soldier recruitment. Now, what is child soldiers? Join me and my partner Isaiah as we explain to you what child soldiers are.
Hi, my name is Isaiah Freely, and I'm here to shed some light on child soldiers. Child soldiers can be under the age of 18, boy or girl. They are vulnerable and easy to influence, who serve and fight the government forces or army of opponents. Each year, many children are being abducted from their homes and later to be found alive, but in the hands of criminals, or later on be found dead in the battle. 10 years ago, world leaders have agreed to stop recruitment of child to go into war. There has been progression, but as of now, it is estimated that there are only as many as 300,000 children serving in military groups around the world. They have child soldiers in Afghanistan, Central African Republic, Colombia, Democratic Republic of Congo, Iraq, Mali, Malala, Nigeria, Philippines, Somalia, South Sudan, Syria, and Yemen. These places are on top of the civilian wars, and jihad are third world countries. They are suffering from poverty, lack of education, and limited natural resources such as food and water. These traits are one of the causes of enrolment of children in war. Government forces and armed opposition groups recruit boys and girls as young as 7 years old. They are even abducted kids in the U.S. So most of the time we hear about kids getting kidnapped or raped or for pornography, but other kidnapped children to sell as sex or sex slaves. Forced labor and to fight as well. Children in these armed groups are abducted, recruited by forces, and others join out of desperation, believing that in being an armed group, it will be the best chance for them to survive due to the living conditions provided to such as the ones mentioned earlier. Children involved in armed forces are used for sexual slavery, used as combats, messengers, ports, and cooks. International humanitarian laws are created for their freedom, security, and acquaintance for everyone. These laws are compiled in one document called the UN Declaration of Human Rights. One of the 30 articles in this document, 9 articles are being violated by the recruitment of child soldiers. These are the 3 articles through and stand out that relate to the crisis. Article 4, which is no one shall be held in slavery or servitude slavery, and no one shall slave trade and be permitted in all their forms. Article 5, which states that no one shall be subjected or tortured or to cruel, inhuman, or degrading treatment or punishment. And Article 20, which states that everyone has a right to freedom, peaceful assembly, and association. No one may be compelled to being along of association. Many international organizations are working towards the effective implementation of these laws in the Declaration, leading to the consolidation of children's rights as an important aspect of international humanitarian laws. Children are still humans. There are no excuses from the UN Declaration of Human Rights. As of 2010, children under the age of 18 make up 21% of the world's population. Well, we, the youth of the future, children do not deserve to be a part of armed conflict. They are too vulnerable to be, too innocent to be in a war. These traits are a reason why military groups or rebellions seek to recruit children to fight and to serve in a war. The vulnerability makes it easier for them to influence their ideas and beliefs about the situation. Therefore, child soldiers should not be in here, and they should just live their life, and they should not be recruited by generals or the army.
Teach them or abuse and torture them to imprint in their minds to obey their leaders. Them being young is an asset for an armed groups. Children in war are more expandable, easy to replace, cheap to maintain, and easy to control. Children lack the sense of fear more than adults. As young people, we are more prone to do dangerous things and risky things. Adults have that sense of being careful, like, is this safe or will I get hurt? And so many of what ifs or buts. And even if the children want to leave, they can't escape. Once they try to escape, the authorities or people who have high positions in armed groups will find them and bring them back into the chaos they had just escaped from. Those who have escaped will always live in fear of being abducted once again, to be tortured and to fight. This bar graph shows the statistics of the after effects on the children in war. 10 million children suffer from mental trauma of the experiences in war. 7.5 million get physical injured both in battle and from the abuse of their superiors. 5 million children in war die in battle and from their physical and mental abuse of their superiors. Their bodies are too fragile to handle such experiences. And 2.5 million children get orphaned into war. Life in a bush was hard, and if you leave, they will look for you until they find you again, and they will take you back. This is a quote from a boy named John, who was a former child soldier in South Sudan. He was recruited when he was 15 years old, and he was one of the 700 children who were forcibly recruited into the South Sudan National Liberation Movement. Another quote from a former child soldier named Ashmet Beh: "My squad is my family, my gun is my provider and my protector. My role is to kill or be killed." Ashmet was a former child soldier. He saw his whole family go through trials and hardships. The women in his family got sexually abused, killed, and used as slaves. The men in his family got recruited, as well as some killed or sent to forced labor. Ashman is only one of the 300,000 kids who got sent into the fields of war. These children don't know the meaning of child's play. Us here, away from the war, play around and act as soldiers, but to them, they know the fears and trauma of being a soldier. Okay, just to summarize all that we discussed about child soldiers in a short statement, child soldiers are minors who are in a government force or opposition groups who are forced into fight and serve without question. If they don't do what they are asked, they will get punished for it. And there are no age restrictions. If a child is strong enough to carry a gun, then he or she will be capable of joining an armed group. So just to clarify, the causes of child soldier recruitment that we mentioned earlier were the benefits of it gives to the group, such as expandability and sexual pleasure. Then there's the living conditions provided to them, poverty especially. So children involved in war are forced to join these groups, but there are some who actually want to join the war. These children do it for personal reasons like rebellion against the government. The kids join the rebel groups because they believe that it's the government's fault that they don't have the adequate lifestyle that they deserve. They're influenced by the rebellion to fight against the government got out of range. Some children also do it for revenge. They want revenge against groups that terrorize their places. Children see their houses burned, properties destroyed, their resources stolen, people mistreated, their families being taken away, brothers killed, fathers turned into slaves, mothers and sisters raped. They are enraged up to the point where they want to get an AK-47 and kill as many Muslims as they can, as many Tibans as they can, as many tribes people as they can. But blinded by their rage, they can't seem to understand the risk they are taking. They don't understand how much danger they're putting themselves into. All they can think about is killing their enemies. These children need all the help they can get, whether it may be big, like voluntary with the UNIFEF to look for children in war and demoralizing them, or just small, like sharing information about the crisis of child soldier recruitment to family and friends. We are extremely lucky that we get to live here. We are grown up with more than we should have.